probably had the most senior amount of delegates from the FM industry in one house, and we had probably the most maverick and excellent presenters here today. Wow, amazing. We've rammed a hell of a lot in. I mean, really, 20-minute slots, bang, bang, just got everybody together, got the message across.
With a variety of styles, with a variety of subjects, and if this subject or this style isn't for you, there's another one just behind. And it's about keeping that pace.
It's one of my favourite conferences of the calendar in the FM in the UK. Great, good speakers, great delegates. It's focused, it's sharp. I've even been tweeting my excitement at some of the good speakers, and they're really good. And I think it's a must for some of the leaders in FM in the UK.
I got the cable car here this morning. There's an anticipation to an event when you're going there and you're thinking about it that you don't get if you're just opening up IFM perhaps in the morning.
For your buildings, the fitness for purpose of how a body is working, how the fitness for purpose of
most
how
organisations see property and FM as a liability, not as an asset. Now what we've got to do is try and rotate that through 180 degrees and get organisations understanding that the relationship between buildings and people is part of the competitive advantage equation that they can play with.
Previously we're caretakers going back many years, building managers maybe 10 years ago, and now FMs have a whole role to play in that performance of that particular property and that asset.
It's always a really good conference, really challenging, and I think this theme of convergence and then looking at it through the different strands of FM is already seeing loads of cross-fertilisation of ideas from one session to another one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's my first IFM conference. There were some really interesting speakers. I really enjoyed the afternoon session when we were looking at new FM and looking at convergence in the FM piece. That was really interesting. I like the Leesman's Index. That's an interesting piece, and that's really gathering some pace. And Deborah was really interesting as well in terms of her address to the audience. So I think it's been a really interesting day.
The Twitter feed was just brilliant this year. Half the room was tweeting. At one stage we were in the top 5 trending in the UK. If they weren't here and they weren't following on Twitter, they've missed a really interesting, informative, challenging debate about where we are as an industry and where we're going next.
FM's a huge sector, and we're getting lots of different people with lots of different opinions. Some of it overlaps, some of it's slightly controversial, few grenades thrown in for good measure. Really good engagement, and I think that's what makes the conference different. It's the contribution, it's the input from the delegates as well as the presenters that creates that mix.
It's not a sales pitch, and it's not a set of stalls, etc. You can have a genuine and honest debate.
I love the fact that they were short, to the point, very succinct message from each. There wasn't a speaker there that I didn't enjoy or wanted time to pass. Fantastic event.
The talk, the debate, the conversations were absolutely excellent, and I learned a great deal from the day. Will I do it again? I'll be here next year for sure.